But let's get into around the NBA here. We're going to be starting off with the Celtics last night, returning home after a 4-2 road trip out west, defeating the Pacers 120-95. Really exhibiting their dominance on the defensive end, holding the Indiana Pacers to 95 points. They held the Kings to 109 points, was close to under 100 points too. So the Celtics seem to be putting together back-to-back games after looking kind of questionable with guys in and out of the lineup, back-to-backs and stuff like that. So to see them finally put together a consistent, dominant performance like this, consistent performance like this, top to bottom, getting play from everybody again. That's good to see. Robert Williams coming back, especially changes our lineups. Defensively on the offensive end, rebounding, blocking shots, rim protection. And I think that's been a big thing that has been missing so far this year. I believe Jaylen Brown even said after the game, hey, the key to this is keeping Robert Williams healthy. He makes that big of an impact, especially for the front line. I think it's great that the Celtics are bringing him off the bench right now. It gives us a different lineup and it kind of saves us on the minutes to play him in games there. I think it's going to be awesome going forward for the Celtics for that. But Jason Tatum had 34 points and 7 rebounds, continuing his good stretch, especially after that game in Sacramento where he was really pouring it on. So I believe he has the most 30-point games in the season. I believe he's at 40 right now for the Boston Celtics in franchise history. I believe Larry Bird has 2 tales of 30-plus. And he's done it twice. So to see Jason Tatum continue that scoring punch on that end and has a chance to add to that record, keep scoring, Tatum. Keep scoring. Jaylen Brown also adding 27 points and 7 rebounds, continuing his great play. He's been the most consistent player on the road trip. Now we're going into the homestand. He's continuing to chip in and add in with the Jason Tatum and the Jays scoring close to 30-30 again. That's something that's impactful for this team when those guys do that. We win games, and the Celtics are continuing to win with those guys scoring. And probably the unsung hero of the season so far, Derrick White, 22 points and 9 assists, just continues to give that steady play as a ball handler, moving the ball, making the extra pass, making a smart pass, but also knocking down his three-point shot, which, again, has been pretty good throughout the season. Contributing. Grant Williams had a good game. Sam Hauser also chipped in. So you're getting contributions from everyone on the team, and you're getting big games from multiple guys on the team. So that's awesome to see for the Boston Celtics, especially on the defensive end, getting back to that, finding their defensive groove. And I said that in my last video that that's going to be vital going down the stretch. Of course, we've seen the Celtics offense throughout the season. That was the big question last year. Now that's not the question anymore. The Celtics offense is one of the best in the league. Their defense is one of the best in the league. They kind of slipped a little bit, but let's see if they can get that back. I think that's the final key, and especially a healthy Rob Williams for our defense to take that next level. Continuing that is going to be vital, I think, going down the stretch for the defensive end of the ball. Rotations, having rim protection, especially with Robert Williams, of course. And just getting back to what the Celtics do. They've done this last season where it really turned around their season. They kind of slipped a little bit here, but still the second best team in the NBA. And I think people have to realize that. And if the Celtics defense can get back to that level, it's going to be interesting in the playoffs, especially going down the stretch, seeing potentially the Bucks, Philadelphia, whatever the case may be in the East. It's going to be a dogfight out East. There's a lot of positioning going on. Of course, Brooklyn is struggling right now. The Knicks are moving up. Miami's moving up. They thought they were dead. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are playing great for them. To see that in the Eastern Conference there. Jaylen Brown, of course, we all knew we saw his articles that came out basically discussing his tenure in Boston, kind of how it was difficult a little bit in certain areas of the business world and on the court, especially with the franchise, trying to get the stability there that he's been looking for a while now in Boston. He's always been in trade rumors, of course, kind of second fiddle to Jason Tatum, but he said he's fine in his role. But I think a lot of that interview was just basically damage control. Not damage control, but leverage. I think he was really positioning his leverage in that manner where basically he's saying, don't mess with this contract coming up. Whatever it is, offer me the max. Let's start there. Whether I'm staying or not, offer me the max and we'll figure it out from there. Don't treat me like Isaiah Thomas. Don't treat me like you don't want me. Show me that you want me with the contract and the years and the guaranteed years and all that. And I think that was basically what he was saying against the franchise. Is there a possibility that he will leave? Of course. If they don't offer him the big contract, I think he's out. That's just the nature of the business. And I think there's a lot of stuff and nasty in the media that's going on, especially targeting Jaylen Brown, kind of saying, why isn't he committed to Boston? Why doesn't he like it here? What's his problem? And Boston seems to do that a lot of the times. And it's like, well, you guys have tried to trade this guy. He's been in trade rumors even before the changeover with Brad Stevens, allegedly with the changeover with Brad Stevens. So it's like, there's a lot of things going on. And I like when people talk about the history in Boston and then act like that's not going to be a factor in a person's staying here long term. Like, that is a factor. There is a history here that continues to exist in the city of Boston. Racism, yes, is everywhere, but yes, it is in Boston. It's going to be acknowledged. It stands out. It's not, you can't ignore that. And even Jaylen Brown's business dealings, I'm pretty sure he's experienced that here. So there's a lot going into it, and I think people have to kind of touch this with a sensitive touch, right? Like, this is a guy's career, his life, his livelihood. He's going to be fine. He's going to make millions of dollars wherever he goes. If he stays here, awesome. I want him to stay here. But this misconception of how Boston doesn't have these issues, especially with the franchise, especially with how they treat Isaiah Thomas, Ray Allen dating back, there's history there. So it's a little, especially when you're a second guy, you're not as cemented as Tatum right now in the pecking order. It's like you're kind of going to be wanting that stability and that security. And I completely understand that from Jaylen Brown's perspective. And I just thought I should touch on that because that's very important. And I think people need to acknowledge the issues that are here in Boston, and things could be better, even for $1 million athletes who basically have the world at their fingers. Things could be better, and things can be better for Jaylen Brown. And I hope the Celtics and him come to a long-term deal. And then we back up the Brinks truck for Tatum, and they're here for a long time. Those guys have done everything in their power to improve, make All-NBA, improve on their games. They got to the finals last year after finally getting over the hump of the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're going to try to continue that. Regardless of the outcome this season, I think they should get max contracts. I think they should get signed, and I think we should keep building, keep moving forward and trying to improve this team and trying to get better and compete for championships, win championships. That's the goal here. I think they have two guys that can get it done.